Right, back to that violence in KZN now. The ANC has condemned scenes of chaos that erupted on the N3 highway following violent protests. Angry supporters of the jailed Jacob Zuma took to the streets, bringing traffic to a standstill. Trucks are also being burnt near the Mooi River toll plaza in the KZN Midlands. They are demanding the release of the embattled former president, who's serving a 15-month prison term. For a reaction on the night of that events witnessed, we are joined on the line by ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe. Pule, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. I see the NEC has asked, or the ANC has asked the Provincial Executive Committee of Kwa-Zulu Natal and the ANC to sort of intervene in this. My question is, where do they start, Pule?
Well, afternoon and afternoon to your viewers. Of course, the African National Congress is concerned by the ongoing violence that is creeping some parts of Kwa-Zulu Natal, the destruction of property and infrastructure, and looting accompanying this violent protest must be condemned in the strongest term possible. The ANC recognizes and respects the right of every South African to protest peacefully and unarmed and freely to express their views on any matter of concern. However, in exercising their constitutional rights, citizens must respect the rights of others and refrain from breaking the law or using violence. In our own constitutional democracy, Gavin, any matter of concern must be expressed through peaceful and legitimate channels. We are concerned that the destruction of property and impeding the functioning of the economy will undermine efforts to create jobs. As per the question you had asked, we have indeed instructed the leadership, the Provincial Executive Committee of Kwa-Zulu Natal, and our deployees in that province to intervene immediately and engage our structures and all relevant stakeholders. Bringing peace and stability to affected areas is a priority for the ANC and the democratic movement. We even asked law enforcement agencies to act firmly and expeditiously within the law against any form of lawlessness, public violence, damage to property, and disruption of economic activity and service delivery. We have also commended the police for doing their best to deal with an extremely difficult and volatile situation. You would understand that it is not easy, and we have said that in every way in which our structures deal with this thing, they must make sure that they cooperate with the work being done by law enforcement agencies to be able to return the situation to normality.
And Pule, we know that the law will react, and the police as well must too, according to the criminality. But what action will the ANC take on those members seen to be encouraging violence?
Well, I mean, we should not treat this as a protest by ANC members because we do not know who's leading this protest. From where we are sitting, these are faceless individuals. So we really need law enforcement agencies to get to the bottom of this. Because the ANC is not going to be responsible for things that are being done in communities throughout the country where there are protests, destruction of property, dealing with economic activity. And we want to own that and say, these are our members. The ANC will call for calm in any community. And the ANC will also call on law enforcement agencies to get closer to such situations so that they could unmask the real identities of those involved in such actions. We have seen a statement issued by the Office of the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, saying that I think the police have managed to apprehend over 20 individuals suspected to be involved in those protests. We must commend the police to have acted swiftly in the manner that they have, and we hope that we will be seeing more action that returns the province of Kwa-Zulu Natal to the stability they so much need, especially during this time. I mean, any activity that leads to economic blockade creates social instability, disenfranchises the working class, and undermines efforts to achieve economic reconstruction and recovery.
Yeah.
Something that the ANC stand against, because we are opposed to anything that deals with the welfare of our people. We have assured our people that when South Africa returns back to normality, when we have won the battle against the deadly coronavirus pandemic, we we will be able to return with an economy that is healthy. We are sitting now in the National Executive Committee of the ANC. Part of the interventions that we are able to deal with is interventions around economic recovery. This shows that we are concerned about the stability of our people, the retention of the existing jobs, and ensuring that there is a sense of economic mobility in the country. Because we understand that the COVID-19 pandemic has wreaked havoc in the rest of South Africa. Businesses have closed. People cannot be able to go to restaurants under this adjusted alert level 4 to see it. All they could do now is to do takeaways. The sale of alcohol has also been banned, at least within this 14-day period. Many other activities, you can imagine, people who operate beauticians, people who operate salons, and all of that. Many other businesses are unable to operate. The tourism sector is one of the most hardest hit. Now, when the port, KZN is our port of entry. So now when trucks are being banned that are going to the ports to deliver minerals that come from the various mines or deliver whatever that needs to be transported out of the country or being brought to the country as part of our import and export trade, it then undermines the ability of us to be able to come back to an economy that shall have at least preserved the jobs that it could preserve. So
then let me ask you, if I can come in there on that point. I mean, you say there is a special NEC meeting. How is the situation being reflected in that meeting?
Well, it is not a special NEC, it's a regular NEC. You would recall it was supposed to have sat last week. It couldn't sit. We had a special NEC on Monday to deal with issues of current affairs. We are now in an ordinary National Executive Committee meeting that started yesterday and is ending on Monday. Yeah. I can tell you that cadres in that meeting are expressing their concerns about the situation that obtains on the ground. But even with that, the foresight that begins to guide the NEC is what kind of intervention are we supposed to be making to make sure that, one, we contribute towards returning the economy back to normality, but also we lift the much-needed public confidence to be able to deal with the pandemic and assure our people that efforts being undertaken by the ANC-led government are the rightful ones as it relates to fighting this deadly virus.
Pule, before I let you go, I'm just wondering, how is the ANC digesting suggestions from Premier Zikalala for a presidential pardon for former President Jacob Zuma? How's the ANC digesting that?
Well, of course, that is not the space of the African National Congress. The African National Congress would never enter a space where it tells the head of state what to do as it relates to constitutional powers that are vested on him. You would recall, it is not for the first time post-democracy that a senior cadre of the organization faces incarceration. Very much recently, the former chairperson of the Northern Cape was arrested and is in incarceration as we speak. And the ANC did not intervene in this way because there must never be an impression created that there is some form of overreach or interference, political interference with the work of the judiciary. We have come out in public to assert, one, the independence of the judiciary, two, the supremacy of the Constitution, three, that all arms of state must be able to do their work without any form of interference. It is on that score, it underscores the point that the African National Congress can't be seen to be intervening in a manner that would undermine the confidence of our people on our own constitutional democracy. We need to be the ones that lift the mood and assures our people that these institutions of state will be able to operate in the interest of all citizens, because we want to affirm and assert the Bill of Rights, that all shall be equal before the law.
All right, we'll have to leave it there because of time. ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe, thanks very much for your time this afternoon.